Arena football is heading your way on 99 The Wave and radio on the go on YouTube. I'm John Molenkle coming to you from inside the Unidome. As tonight, the 2026 Arena League season begins, the Iowa Woo will play host to the Monroe Greenheads. Once again, welcome to tonight's broadcast as the Woo have moved their home games from the Hippodrome here to the Dome for their third season here in the Arena League. Third season in existence here as well, and it should be a fantastic atmosphere for some arena football. Iowa's coming off a 4-4 season last year in the Arena League, in which they finished third in what was just a 6-team league last year. They will look to return to prominence this season as the league has expanded to 8 teams and a good mix of veterans and newcomers on this Woo roster led by head coach Victor Mann. Meanwhile, the Monroe Greenheads are one of 3 expansion teams in the Arena League this season. They're joining the Nebraska Siege and the Memphis Hound Dogs as new teams in the Arena League this year. They've made the trip up from Monroe, Louisiana. So the Arena League is a league that consists now of 8 teams, mostly located in the central United States. Others include the Arkansas Diamonds, the Eau Claire Axemen, the Ozarks Lunkers, and the St. Joseph Ghosts, as well as the other teams that I mentioned just a little bit ago. We're getting set for an opening throw-off of 7:05 p.m., and I'll tell you about some of the rule changes because there is no kicking. There is going to be a throw-off instead of a kickoff. But before that, I've got an interview with head coach Victor Mann on some of his expectations for the season. So here is that interview right now. I'm being joined right now on Radio on the Go Sports by Iowa Woo head coach Victor Mann, as the Woo are just about ready for their regular season opener. They'll be taking on the Monroe Greenheads here on Saturday night. But Coach Mann, appreciate the time here today. I guess just to start off, if you could kind of give me just a big picture synopsis of what things have kind of looked like for you guys throughout this preseason as you gear up for the season opener. Obviously, there's some new things with going into the Unidome and stuff here as well, but what's that kind of been like here throughout this preseason?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. But everything's been real smooth in the preseason. Obviously, having a big move going from the Hippodrome to the Unidome. Unidome, big, nice place. We got a nice setup, where we have the field on top of the field, pretty much open space, beautiful facility. So it's been going, it's been going okay. We've been doing whatever we have to do, just as an organization to make sure that we make a smooth transition into the 2026 season.
Yeah, and so when it comes to the roster here this season, I understand a lot of these guys that you have on the team are recent college graduates and things like that. If you kind of tell me what that's been looking like here so far this year.
Yeah, so, the roster's always changing. When you talk about arena football, it's a lot of turnover. And sometimes you try to keep as many of the core that you can. But, this game also partnered with just life in general. These guys have to make certain decisions for their career and working career while they're trying to, still navigate the football professional world. But it's been great. I feel like we have a good, solid roster to start off the season. We had guys come out for training camp and compete well, and we've kind of made our final cuts for our final 18. And I think these 18 guys deserve the opportunity that they're given right now. And, I'm looking forward just to see them compete starting Saturday.
Yeah, and when it comes to the roster, I guess how does it kind of work in the arena football scene? Is there any carryover from last year to this year, or is it all new guys, or what's that like?
Well, we have a couple of new guys. I have some returners. The number one returner, I think, just for the TAL league, all in general, is Marcel Brooks, our defensive back. He was the defensive MVP of the league last season. In my eyes, no knock on nobody else. I feel like he's the best player in indoor football right now, just because of his history and the work he's put in over the years to get to where he's at. We have a veteran quarterback in Vernon Sharp. This is going on his 3rd season with the Woo. On and off. So he brings, some knowledge and veteran leadership. We got some defensive backs that's been doing a great job. We got Kevon Smith, who is a veteran in this league. Amaya Butler, who is a veteran in this league, doing a great job right now. We got some young guys. One young guy I really want to talk about, a guy named Apollo Johnson. He's a rookie. You know, young kid, 21 years old, just a whole lot of upside, great work ethic. I'm looking forward to really see him compete. And just the rest of the team, you know, even the guys that I did not name, I mean, trust me, I have some guys that could play, guys that I value very high. I think they're going to have a good chance. They got the opportunity in the stage to go out there and just show what they can do.
Yeah, so coming off a 4-4 season last year, what are some of the things that you're kind of hoping to accomplish here this year to see if you can improve on that record from last year? What are kind of some of the top things that come to mind?
The main thing was just our discipline in the way we approached the game, and that started with me, up top. You know, we could make all these excuses about, what was happening, how it was happening. But at the end of the day, I've been doing this for a long time, and I understand just the whole process of, winning championships and having those very tough competitive teams. And last year, I just wasn't on my game like I was supposed to be. So, I really blame myself for us being 4-4 because I think we had the talent to be a lot much better. Just starting off the season, I mean, we lost to the champions, but I mean, we had them on the ropes and we just didn't understand how to finish. So I blame myself by not having those guys ready to finish because, I mean, think about it. You play the champions in the first game with a new coach. You got them on the ropes. You got them down, I think 20. I think we was up maybe 20. Could have been more, could have been a little less. But it was in around that range. And then to give the game up where we could have closed it out, from the second half and beyond, I think that could have, definitely changed the mindset of our team and the confidence that we played with. But that was on me for not having us ready during that time, So I had to get on my game also. I feel like I have the best coach in football in Coach Trey Ivory, who is not just our defensive coordinator, but, I mean, he's our offensive specialist, special teams coordinator, player personnel guy, motivator. I mean, I think he's just one of a kind. So, I think we've put together a good game plan. We worked in the off season just like we felt like the players needed to work so we can come back prepared, ready to compete at the highest level.
You bet. Last week had a 57-0 preseason win over the Twin Cities Tundra. What were kind of some of the key takeaways you guys had from that game?
I mean, for one, we came after the game fairly healthy. Twin Cities gave us a great look, being in training camp, playing against another team, getting some new bodies to be able to compete against. I mean, that was big for me, for my players to be able to do that. Big for me and Coach Trey to be able to evaluate off of it. You never want to get too caught up into what those games look like. I mean, for one, Twin Cities really never had to play by our rules, never really understood the nuances. So, those guys was coming out, giving us the best look possible that they could. But my guys got opportunities to compete and kind of could show, what we needed to see in order for those guys to make the 18-man roster.
So you got the Monroe Greenheads coming in here on Saturday night. That's an expansion franchise as well. So it'll be kind of a brand new look for those guys coming up from Louisiana. What are some thoughts on that matchup and what you guys are going to have to be ready for here on Saturday night?
Well, more than anything, I mean, definitely it's no X's and no study material for those guys, with this being their first season. But, I mean, understanding Coach Terry Bowden's background, I mean, we know that he studied the game enough that he's going to have his guys prepared to be able to come and compete. So I'm just looking at, some hungry guys that's going to be traveling, all the way from Monroe, Louisiana, coming out here to Cedar Falls. to try to compete to win. So I know that going into the game. So I know that we got to come, with our best punches, ready to get the job done.
All right. Well, Coach, I'm certainly looking forward to the first game of the season here coming up on Saturday night. But before we wrap up here today, any final thoughts you'd like to share here before we get the season officially started?
Well, yeah, I like to thank just everybody that supports, the Iowa Woo, all our sponsors, all our soon-to-be sponsors, all the sponsors that's probably going to eventually come back and support just because of, how this Cedar Valley area, everybody supports each other. I just want everybody to know, hey, we are Waterloo's and Cedar Falls team. We work in the community all the time. We've been blessed to partner with the Cedar Valley Outreach on a lot of different community events with the CEO and founder, Carmen Teague, who has took us under her wing and took us around to the community. We've been blessed to be able to bless the community with our presence and our time, and our guys love it. We do have a camp that's called the Ezekiel Football Camp. It started this Tuesday, but every Monday from 5 to 6, our guys are out in the community at Sullivan Park, just playing football with the kids, getting them active, getting them out the house. And at the end, Carmen Teague and her outreach, they do community meals. So I think that's just something that's great that our community needs to know that it's going on, and some of the people that's behind it that supports the Woo. And I know everybody do, and everybody will, because we are Cedar Valley's team. I want everybody to know that. We're Cedar Falls, Iowa, Waterloo, Iowa. We're the team that's here to support and build all the communities around.
All right, that's Iowa Woo head coach Victor Mann here on Radio On The Go Sports. Appreciate the time today, Coach, and we will catch you here on Saturday nights.
Thank you.
All right, once again, that was Iowa Woo head coach Victor Mann talking about this upcoming matchup here with the Monroe Greenheads. Iowa won the opening coin toss, and they will receive the opening throw-off. So there is no kicking in this league. There's no kickoffs, there's no punts, there's no extra points or anything like that. Instead of a kickoff, they will do a throw-off. So we're going to get this Arena League season underway tonight. And Iowa is going to send back Kyvon Smith out of Independence, Missouri. Who had 47.5 tackles, one of the leaders on the team last year for the Woo. Iowa in the home black uniforms with light blue numbers on them. It's an all-black look here for the Woo. All right, Monroe getting ready to throw off from right to left down to the south end of the Unidome field, and here we go. It is a sidewinding throw. It is returnable for Iowa inside the 10-yard line and brought down at around the 13, and that is where Iowa will start the Arena League season. They'll start this one from the left hash mark. And actually, they will move the ball to the middle of the field here, so they'll place it down at the 14-yard line. It is a multicolored football. The side that I can see right now is white. And another rule here, there is no huddling allowed, except after timeout, so it's all a no huddle system here. It is 7-on-7 football, with only the center being an ineligible, or receiver not eligible to receive passes. So, and a motion man comes from the right side, throw over the middle, tipped up in the air and nearly intercepted by the Monroe Greenheads. So Iowa coming off of a 4-4 season last year, where they finished third in the Arena League, and the Monroe Greenheads are an expansion team, so totally clean slate for those guys. They are led by head coach Terry Bowden, who is well known for his time in the SEC as the head coach of Auburn. So the Iowa Woo have Trey Henderson out of Terrell, Texas, lined up as the receiver on the right side, the near side as I see it, and it's going to be a quarterback run down to the near side and to the 25-yard line, and with that, Iowa is going to move the sticks here for the first down of the season. They'll look over to the near sideline here as Vernon Sharp, who spent some time at NAIA Graceland University, gets that opening rush here for the Woo out to the 25-yard line, which is the middle yard line of the field. Sharp throws to the left side. It's caught outside the hash marks, outside the numbers along the sideline. And down inside the 15-yard line. So Iowa on the verge of scoring here. That one from the 25, a gain of about 12 to the 15. And that was caught out on the far side by Leslie Owusu, who is a former UNI Panther. So he has played in this dome before. Now it's going to be a handoff, and this play goes to the left a little bit, near the line to gain. We'll see if this is enough for an Iowa Woo first down. You got an official over on the far side signaling to move the sticks, and they will do so. And so another rule here with this league is that when there is motion from one of the, whether it's a receiver or a running back or what have you, as you can see on the YouTube broadcast here, you can run forward at the snap. So Sharp rolls out. Now he's going to take off upfield between the hash marks, fighting for the goal line, and he's in for the Iowa touchdown. Touchdown Iowa Woo, a 14-yard run by quarterback Vernon Sharp out of Fort Worth, Texas, who was the backup quarterback last year to Carlos Rogers. And the Woo are on the board with a rushing touchdown there by Sharp. So you can go for one from the 5-yard line, or you can go for two from the 10-yard line. Because there is no kicking in this game. There's no goal post, which looks somewhat strange when you see it for the first time, but then you understand, well, there's no kicking. So Iowa is going to go for two from the 10-yard line here. And actually, they may have waved off this score, so no score at this point, I guess. Now Sharp back to pass. Dancing between the hash marks. Line drive pass to the back of the end zone, and it's caught. All right, so they do get the 2 points, so they just hadn't put it up on the scoreboard. So it is going to be an 8-0 lead for the Iowa Woo. I'll take a timeout. We'll have a throw-off next. Leslie Owusu made the 2-point conversion catch for the Iowa Woo, which now lead the Monroe Greenheads 8-0 here in this Arena League season opener. Stoked you're with us here for this one. And now we have the throw off from Sharp from the end zone. And it's going to land and bounce inside the 5-yard line, angling over to the far side boards. And the whistle will be blown, and no return for the Monroe Greenheads. All right, so did not land where it was supposed to, so it's going to be a start at midfield now for the Monroe Greenheads. And how about that for your first drive ever as an organization? So they will start from right at midfield at the 25-yard line. And here we go. Timmy McLean, number 7, is the quarterback. He's got it right now. Left-handed QB. Slings it out to the far side where it is caught at about the 23-yard line. And forward progress is going to be stopped. So a short pickup there. That was caught by Quad Smith. Went to college at Akron. Played for the Zips out of Orlando, Florida. So that's going to be a gain of about 3 yards. 2nd down and 7 coming up here for the Greenheads. It's going to be a pass over the middle. Caught down inside the 10-yard line down to the 8. And this will be a chain mover for, it looks like, Frederick Floyd. Down to the 7-yard line. First down and goal now for Monroe. Down to the 6-yard line of Iowa. Here's a handoff. Running back takes it up the middle. As Jatarius Turpin listed as a wide receiver, but he carries it forward and plunges down inside the 5-yard line. So this is going to be a high-scoring game here. You saw a lot of scores last couple of years in the 50s, 60s, 70s. It'll be second down and goal from the 3 now for the Greenheads. Back to pass, lefty QB to the near side. It's caught along the sideline, and taking it into the house is C.J. Brown, wide receiver number 12 here for the Monroe Greenheads. And it is 8-6 as Monroe gets on the board with 9:22 to go here in the first quarter. 15-minute quarters here as well in this Arena League. They keep the clock running, though, for the conversion tries. There's Terry Bowden coming out on the field. It is kind of strange. You see the chain gang, you see some coaches and stuff right out there on the field, which is kind of how things have to be in this very small and narrow field. So here's going to be a pass attempt. A flag comes into the backfield, incomplete, as McLean, the former Bethune-Cookman quarterback, releases it. And we'll see what the penalty flag is. All right, so holding gets called on Monroe. The penalty gets declined by Iowa, and with that, it remains an 8-6 lead for the Woo. 8:41 to go here in the first quarter. Iowa 8, Monroe 6. Back in a moment. Kyvon Smith with a throw-off return for the Iowa Woo, taking it up shy of the 15-yard line, so the Woo will start. We'll place it down at the 13. And regardless of where the kickoff or the throw-off return ends, the play will start in the middle of the field, directly between the hash marks. So we've got 8 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Iowa Woo 8, Monroe Greenheads 6, as each team scored on their opening drive. But a holding call on Monroe on the two-point conversion try kept them off the board. Here's a toss left out to the running back. That's C.J. Leggett. Gets chopped down out across the 15-yard line for a short gain on the play. Nice little sweep play there out of the shotgun. As the Iowa Woo are rocking the all-black uniforms here tonight with the light blue numbers and text. Pickup of about 4 yards on that toss play to the left side. Receiver goes in motion deep upfield. Back to pass, it's Sharp, dancing around to the pocket, throws deep toward the end zone, incomplete. He was looking for Kyvon Smith, the receiver taking it deep, who also played a lot of defensive back last year for the Woo with 47.5 tackles, which was the second most on the team. And now it's going to be third down and 6 coming up after Sharp fires that one incomplete over the middle. Vernon Sharp played at Graceland University in Lamoni, Iowa, a native of Fort Worth, Texas. He's back to pass, quick screen to the near side. And it's going to be caught but shy of the sticks. This one goes for little gain, and there's a fourth down now. So there's a couple of different options you can do here on fourth down due to the fact that there is no punting. You can either go for it, obviously, or you can do what's called a surrender, which would cause the other team to take possession deep in their own territory. Right now, Vernon Sharp is 2 for 4 passing for 14 yards, an average of 7. And they are going to go for it here on fourth down and 4 with Sharp back to pass. Dancing around within the hash marks, looking down the middle, flings it left side, it's incomplete. And with that, it's an Iowa Woo turnover on downs with 5:59 to go here in the first quarter. Leading 8-6 over the Monroe Greenheads. but now Monroe will have a chance to strike in great starting field position, starting at the opponent 19. So they'll set this one up at the middle hash marks here. Several other games going on throughout the Arena League tonight, including Eau Claire at Ozarks and Memphis at Nebraska. Just 2 games tonight. St. Joe was at Arkansas to begin the season last night. All right, here's Monroe on offense, starting at the 19-yard line of Iowa. Down to the near side on the throw by Timmy McLean, the QB. It's going to go incomplete for the Greenheads. McLean now 1 for 2 passing for 3 yards for Monroe. And it'll bring up 2nd down and 10. Another thing with the rule specifically for the quarterbacks, if they show that they're going to pass, they cannot go outside the hash marks until they cross the line of scrimmage if they do end up running the ball. Here's McLean back in the pocket. Now he's dancing around. He throws as he does get outside the hash marks. So because of the fact that he did that, he had committed to throwing the ball at that point. So he just heaved it deep incomplete down toward the end zone, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 10 now for the Monroe Greenheads. Now some great pressure up front by the defense of Iowa. Again, this is a 7-on-7 football game. Monroe wearing the road white uniforms with black helmets and white pants as well. McLean back to pass. Throws it deep. It's going to be caught right at the sticks by number 0. That's Quad Smith out of Akron. And this will be 1st down yardage here for Monroe. Down inside the 10-yard line to the 9. So just enough to move the sticks there. And here we go. 1st and goal from the 9. McLean back to pass. Now he's going to take off up the middle and take a left outside the hash marks. Gets stood up. Oh, he's still going, and he burrows down inside the 4-yard line for a 2nd and goal coming up. That was a nice, nifty move by Timmy McLean, the QB of Monroe. Again, he played his college career at Bethune-Cookman University. Hometown is Sanford, Florida. And looking at the Monroe roster, a lot of people out of the state of Louisiana, including a decent amount of them from right there in the city of Monroe. 2nd down and goal from the 4. A single receiver to the near side with 2 out to the far side stacked up. Here's McLean. Now back to pass. Behind the line of scrimmage. Throws to the back of the end zone. It is incomplete. Looking for Quad Smith once again. And McLean now 2 for 5 passing for Monroe. For 13 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and goal from the 4. And we got a whistle and a timeout called by the Iowa Woo. 3 minutes and 16 seconds left in the 1st quarter. Iowa 8, Monroe 6. I'll be back in a sec. .3:16 to go in the 1st quarter. Iowa 8, Monroe 6. Here in this Arena League season opener inside the Unidome. The Monroe Greenheads, an expansion franchise here in the Arena League, playing their first ever game. Making the trip up here from Monroe, Louisiana. They have 3rd and goal from the 4 with a chance to take the lead on this drive for their first lead of franchise history. McLean is back to pass with an empty backfield. Now he takes off to the left. He's got to commit to pass now. Being chased down by the defensive front of Iowa. All the way back to the 20-yard line. Release it at midfield. Oh, it's going to be hauled in on the far side. Reaching out for the end zone, and Monroe gets on the board again. Touchdown, Greenheads on a big-time snag by Donterion Ferguson. The native of Ruston, Louisiana, climbed the ladder right at the corner of the end zone, reached across for the score. It's only going to go down in the books as a 4-yard pass reception, but that thing came all the way out from the 25-yard line. So now they're going to go for one from the 5-yard line. Back to pass is McLean. Throws over the middle and incomplete. Looking for Mark Britt, the second, his intended receiver, and that will stop the clock at 2 minutes and 22 seconds. Monroe 12, Iowa 8. Back and forth action here in this Arena League season opener on Radio On The Go Sports. It's time for the throw off by the Monroe Greenheads. This is a short throw. It's going to bounce at the 11-yard line, and they will blow the plate dead for the illegal throw off. And now we got some two dudes with a little bit of extracurricular activity. It is quickly broken up. And let's head down to the head referee to... Oh, I guess he already gave the call. That was pretty quiet. But there's 2 minutes and 13 seconds left here in the first quarter. The Monroe Greenheads lead the Iowa Woo 12-8. And a touchdown pass by Monroe quarterback Timmy McLean of 4 yards. So that is how they got on the board there for the second time. Here's Vernon Sharp back to pass for the Iowa Woo. Flings it out to the far side where it is caught by Leslie Owusu, the former UNI Panther, as they took over from the 25-yard line. And this will be a pickup of 6 yards on the play. Second down and 4 coming up. Sharp now 3 of 6 for 20 yards down to the 19-yard line of Monroe. Receiver comes in motion from the slot. They fake the handoff. Sharp taking it up the middle. And he's going to be brought down shy of the 15-yard line, a little bit shy of the sticks. So it'll bring up a third down and short after Sharp rumbles that one forward. Sharp with a 14-yard touchdown earlier in the game as well. And it's going to be third down and 1 now. Now taking it out the left side, turning the corner. It's Trey Henderson down inside the 10-yard line to set up a goal-to-go opportunity. Down to the 6-yard line, it'll be first and goal. After the nice scamper by Trey Henderson, his first rush of the game. And now an empty backfield here for Vernon Sharp. First and goal, down at the 6. He takes the snap and drops back. Looks to throw. Fires left side to the corner of the end zone. Incomplete. Braden Bessie, the intended receivers, native of Loveland, Colorado, St. John's University. Second down and goal coming up for the Iowa Woo. Coming up next week, it's going to be some playoff soccer, including state tournament soccer on 99 The Wave. APD&H boys will take on Gilbert on the home field of the Tigers coming up on Monday night, June 1st. We've reached the end of the first quarter. It'll be the second quarter coming up next with the Monroe Greenheads leading the Iowa Woo 12-8. Monroe Greenheads 12, Iowa Woo 8 as we head to the second quarter inside the Unidome of this Arena League season opener. John Mowinkle with you here on 99 The Wave and radio on the go on YouTube. So far, Woo quarterback Vernon Sharp, 3 of 7 for 20 yards. And on the ground, he's got 3 rushes for 28 yards, including a 14-yard touchdown. CJ Leggett, 2 rushes for 5 yards. Trey Henderson, 1 rush for 7. Leading receiver Leslie Owusu, 2 catches for 18 yards. Trey Henderson, 1 for 2. So it'll be a 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line now for the Iowa Woo after an incomplete pass by Vernon Sharp at the last play of the first quarter. Put 15 minutes back up on the clock. And we are ready to resume action here as Iowa looks to regain the lead. So Sharp sets up in the shotgun formation in an empty backfield. And a receiver comes in motion. It'll be a sweep handoff to the right. Nope, it's a QB keeper after faking the handoff to Smith. And Sharp is going to rumble down inside the 5-yard line. The line of scrimmage will be the 1. From the 6 down to the 1, that's a gain of 5. Vernon Sharp doing a lot of damage here for the Iowa Woo so far. He was the backup last year to get his chance to shine this year. 3rd and goal from the 1 for Iowa. Receiver comes in motion from the right. They fake the handoff, tossing it out to the back of the end zone, and the intended receiver topples over the top of the wall and out of bounds. That was Kyvon Smith taking a tumble over the wall down there for the Iowa Woo. So an incomplete pass. Eight pass attempts, 7 rush attempts in the game so far for the Woo. And 4th and goal from the 1. Last opportunity here for Iowa to score on this drive. Sharp takes the shotgun snap. He's back to pass. Throws it left side of the end zone. It's caught for the Woo touchdown. Kyvon Smith with a 1-yard touchdown reception, and the Woo take the lead back at 14-12. And they're going to back it up to the 10-yard line and go for it here. Go for 2 from the 10. Kyvon Smith with his first reception of the game. And that one for a score. Here's Sharp back to throw. Back of the end zone, incomplete. And that will keep Iowa in front 14-12 with 13:11 to go in the second quarter. Back in just a moment as the Greenheads will take over after the throw-off. It's time for the throw-off with Iowa leading Monroe 14-12. 13:11 to go in the second quarter. And Monroe had good starting field position at the 25-yard line, their last time possessing the ball. And now here we go with the throw-off. It's a line drive throw, bounces down inside the 5. It'll be returnable from the end zone, and this is going to go nowhere. They'll start from back at the 1-yard line, will the Monroe Greenheads. They couldn't get any return with Mark Britt II, a former Ole Miss Rebel. They say that he was able to lunge forward to the 2-yard line. All right, here we go. Let's see if the Iowa Woo defense can come up clutch. And again, it is a running clock here for the most part. I'll stop for timeouts, changes of possessions, things like that, but otherwise they keep it running here for the most part. We've got a halftime performance by Red Panda coming up as well, so stay tuned for that. Tip ball and incomplete. Oh, it's going to be caught by the quarterback of Monroe. It's McLean. Had the pass tipped to himself and is able to take it forward out across the 5-yard line, just about to the 10. I'll call that a gain of 5 yards by Timmy McLean. So I'll have to add him to my stat sheet there, having caught his own pass. Don't see that every day. Here's a pass out to the left side. This is going to be incomplete. Intended receiver Dion McNeil of the Greenheads. And that'll bring up 3rd down and 4 from the 7-yard line in their own territory. Ball is placed to the middle hash mark. They got one receiver out to the near side. That's Frederick Lloyd, number 9. Played for the USF Bulls back in the day out of Tifton, Georgia. Now McLean back to pass here on 3rd down. Takes off to the left. He's going to be almost sacked. He throws the ball at the last second. So it was nearly a sack by the Iowa Woo defensive line. Then he tried getting it away to his intended receiver, McNeil. And it's going to bring up a 4th down and 4 now for Monroe. So the line to gain is the 11-yard line in their own territory. And the Woo defense now will look for a clutch stop. All right, so they'll go ahead and surrender here. Looked like they were trying to get the Woo to jump offside. But they're, for the first time, that surrender rule comes into play now. Because that's one of the options you have on 4th down. Obviously, the first option is to just go for it because there's no punting. But the other option is to just do what's called a surrender, and that'll give the other team the football back at their own 15-yard line. So it's pretty much the same effectiveness as a punt. So, and again, this football field has no goalposts due to the fact that there is no kicking here in this game. And it's a 50-yard field that the width is only about half of a traditional football field. So it is all pretty much down to scale from that perspective. And Iowa will start at their own 15-yard line here, right between the hash marks. Now Vernon Sharp is alone in the backfield in the shotgun formation. Receiver comes in motion and motions over the middle. Deep downfield, and this is going to be intercepted. Intercepted by Jalen King of the Monroe Greenheads all the way down at the 11-yard line in their own territory. So Monroe surrenders the ball back to Iowa, giving it to them at their own 15. But Vernon Sharp turns it over now for the Woo, and Monroe will get another opportunity here. Vernon Sharp just 4 of 10 passing for 21 yards. And Monroe down 14-12 will take over back at the 13-yard line after the big-time interception down there by Jalen King. 1st and 10 Monroe. Timmy McLean back out at QB. They do have a halfback in the formation as well. McLean, the lefty quarterback, will dump it off, and it's incomplete. Looking for C.J. Brown out of the left flat. And that'll bring up 2nd down. And they were not at the same page there. Brown not even looking. Clock ticks down under 10 minutes to go in the 2nd quarter. Iowa 14, Monroe 12. Here in this Arena League season opener. Coming up next week, the Woo will be on the road to Memphis before being back at home on June 13th against St. Joe. McLean back to pass deep toward the end zone. It is going to be caught for a Monroe touchdown. Quad Smith on the fade route down the field between the hash marks and numbers, hauls it in for the deep pass. And Monroe is back in front, 18-14. 37 yards on that touchdown pass by Timmy McLean for his 2nd scoring strike of the night. And let's see what they elect to do. They will go for 2 from the 10-yard line here. Going for 2 from the 10-yard line is Monroe. Looking over to the sideline for the play call, McLean. Now he's giving his teammates some instructions here, and now they blow the whistle. All right, so Monroe calls a timeout there first, and that'll stop the clock with 8 minutes and 43 seconds left in this first half. Monroe leading 18-14, going for 2 from the 10-yard line to try to increase their lead to 6. So far, Timmy McLean, 5 of 10 passing for 59 yards. 2 touchdowns, an average of 11.8 yards per completion. 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Passer rating of 165.56. Meanwhile, Vernon Sharp of Iowa, only 4 of 10 for 21 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. So here comes the 2-point conversion attempt now for Monroe. And McLean back to pass. Dances the feet, being flushed out. Now steps up, lobs it out the back of the end zone. Incomplete. So 8:35 to go here in the second quarter. Monroe 18, Iowa 14. That's a big missed 2-point conversion because the next Iowa score will give them the lead no matter what. Back in just a second as the Arena League season opener will continue in just a moment. Eight minutes and 35 seconds to go in the second quarter. Monroe Greenheads 18, Iowa Woo 14. It was a 37-yard touchdown pass by Timmy McLean. And with that, Monroe has an 18-14 lead, but they missed the 2-point conversion attempt. So now they'll have the throw off with 8.5 to go until halftime. And again, coming up at halftime, Red Panda will perform. So I will keep that up on the YouTube in case you're interested in checking that out. So here comes the throw off. They're going to have Frederick Lloyd do the throw. Here it comes. That throw is a duck, and it hits the sidewall on the near side at about the 14-yard line, so the flag will come out, and that'll give Iowa the ball at the 25-yard line right at the Woo logo midfield. So if you're familiar with hockey, it's the field is kind of the similar shape as that, with the curved corners rather than just the sharp 90-degree angles. So because of that, the end zone is not a full typical end zone. It's cornered off, which is a little bit strange. But that's how they do it here in the Arena League. So Iowa will take over at the 25-yard line. And again, that is midfield. Now there's 8 minutes and 23 seconds and ticking here in the second quarter, with Monroe leading 18-14, and here we go. Leslie Owusu lines up as a receiver here on the near side. They've got 2 receivers split out far to the left. Handoff Owusu on a sweep play to the right, lowering the shoulders as he turns the corner down inside the 25 to about the 22, maybe the 21. So Owusu, his first rush of the game there, takes it forward for about 4 yards. And a lot of times on those jet sweeps, it is a soft forward tap, but that was a direct handoff, so it goes down to the books as a rush rather than a pass. Now 2nd down and 4. Here's the direct snap to Sharp. He's on the run, takes it out to the right side, reaches the ball forward. And we'll see what kind of yardage he ends up getting here. Goes from 2nd and 6 to 3rd and 2. We'll say he picked up 4 on the ground. Now 5 rushes for 37 yards. Good for 7.4 a crack for Vernon Sharp, the QB of Iowa. Now he takes the shotgun snap. He'll dump it off out to the right side. Tipped and intercepted. And Monroe will take over. It was in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. I think it was Braden Bessie of Iowa. And it results in a Monroe takeaway here. So the 2nd interception of the game on Sharp's 2nd consecutive passing attempt. So 2 interceptions in a row. And 2 costly turnovers there for Iowa. Monroe now has a chance to take a 2-possession lead here if they are able to strike. There's 6 minutes and 57 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. And their offense is coming right back out onto the field. And let me tell you, Monroe, for this being their first ever game, they're playing pretty well so far. Now McLean back to pass. Loads up deep, looking for the end zone. Incomplete, and a flag comes in. Looks like this might be defensive pass interference. They were looking for Quad Smith on the fly route down the left side. He fell to his back in the end zone. And yeah, so pass interference does get called on Iowa. Jamie Vicente Colon out of Apopka, Florida, called for the PI. And it's not a spot foul. They'll just move it out to the 25. So now to midfield go the Monroe Greenheads. Actually at their own 24. 1st and 10. Here's McLean back to pass. Being flushed out of the pocket, and he's going to be taken down to the backfield. A sack for the Iowa Woo. Apollo Johnson in there to help bring him down, as well as Thomas Lanier out of Romeoville, Illinois. Went to Greenville University. 6:16 to go here in the 2nd quarter. Monroe 18, Iowa 14. And that's going to be a big-time loss of 10 yards. And the first rush play of the game for Monroe. McLean back to pass on 2nd down and long. Looking deep for the end zone. It is going to be, was that caught in traffic? No, it's going to be intercepted by Iowa. It's being returned back inside the 15-yard line. Holy cow. Intercepted in the end zone and returned all the way back down to the red zone. And now we got some players huddled over on the far side, as there was a hard collision over there. So an interception and then an injury timeout. Not sure who it is that's down on the field. Couldn't tell exactly who got the interception for Iowa either. But nevertheless, it's going to be returned all the way back down to around the 10-yard line, down inside the 10. So we'll take a timeout here for the injury as well, as the Monroe Greenheads lead the Iowa Woo 18-14. Well, a bizarre and unfortunate scene has unfolded here inside the Unidome. There was an interception in the end zone by one of the Iowa Woo defensive backs, Jamie Vicente Colon. He returned it back. The play is actually going to get ruled dead, so he was returning the ball back to about the 11-yard line in Monroe territory, and Monroe head coach Terry Bowden was on the field. Not an unusual situation here, and so he gets run into by a bunch of players. He gets put on his back on the ground, and now he's riding off in a stretcher. He's waving to the crowd, saying he's all right, but the head coach, Terry Bowden, and this guy's 70 years old too, so I mean, it's you got to be careful out there, but it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. He was trying to get out of the way, and now the head coach is going to ride off in a stretcher and go get evaluated somewhere other than here. So the ruling on the field of an interception is upheld, and Iowa will take over at their own 5-yard line here after the interception. But yeah, Monroe Greenheads head coach Terry Bowden gets run into by a few players and has to be taken off in a stretcher. So, and again, he did wave to the crowd as he was taken off. For a while, he seemed to have refused to get on the stretcher. He was standing upright, and now we got movement up front, and a flag comes in. He was standing upright after he got knocked down to the ground, and then they decided, well, let's get him on the stretcher here, and just to make sure. But a bizarre scene here inside the Unidome as Terry Bowden in his Arena League coaching debut will have an early exit here to this one. So hopefully everything's all good with him. That's a legendary coach, man. I mean, coached a lot of D1 programs back in the day, so best wishes being sent out to him. So it's going to be now we got confusion with the chain gang here. It's going to be 1st and 5 after the offside call against Monroe as they jumped into the neutral zone. So 5:34 to go and ticking here in the first half. And it's going to be a QB run as Vernon Sharp plows it up the middle, out across the 15-yard line. Monroe 18, Iowa 14, down to 5:20 to go. That moves the sticks. And a pickup of 7 yards on the ground for quarterback Vernon Sharp of the Woo. 6 carries, 44 yards for him so far, including a score. Now 1st and 10. At their own 17-yard line, and he fires this one forward, incomplete. And he is now 4 of 12 passing for 21 yards. 3 straight incompletions now. The previous 2 were intercepted. So the clock does keep running here even after incomplete passes. And you can tell that we are getting closer and closer to sunset here inside the Unidome because the roof has changed color. It's more of a gold color than the usual white. Sharp back to pass from the pocket, throws to the near side, nearly intercepted and incomplete. He's looking to fire it out to Kyvon Smith. But DeCarrion Jackson, one of the defensive backs of Monroe, dove out and deflected it down. So another incomplete pass. The 4th straight incompletion now for Sharp, who is 4 of 13 for 21 yards, a touchdown, and an INT. 2nd down and 10, back from their own 17, make it the 17-yard line, but a flag comes in. This will back it up to the 9-yard line. Clock has stopped, 4:20 to go here in the second quarter. Monroe 18, Iowa 14. Woo have it now back at their own 9-yard line after the penalty. And a man comes in motion. Here's Sharp. Back to pass. Now he takes off between the hash marks. He's going to run with it. Out across the 25-yard line into enemy territory, down to the 20. Let's see. Let's do some quick math. 9 down to the 20. That's a gain of 21 yards. Actually placed it at the 22, so I'll say he picked up 19 yards that time around. Now 63 yards on 7 carries for Woo quarterback Vernon Sharp. 3:41 to go here in the second quarter. Monroe 18, Iowa 14. First and 10 Woo at the 22-yard line of Monroe. Sharp is back to pass, dancing around to the pocket, flings it out to the right side. It's caught along the boards, outside the numbers, fighting down inside the 15-yard line. Forward progress stopped just shy of the sticks. Daniel Walker out of UW Stout, native of Minneapolis, Minnesota, making his first catch of the game. And this will pick up 9 yards through the air. It breaks a streak of 4 straight incompletions by Sharp. Now it's going to be a handoff. Sweep play to the left. Running down the numbers. This is going to be a touchdown for Iowa. Trey Henderson taking it down, and that is going to be a score. 13 yards on the ground for Henderson, and just like that, Iowa is back in front, 20-18. 13 yards, second rushing score of the game for the Woo. And they're going to go for 2 from the 10-yard line here, with 2:15 to go in the second quarter. Now they're going to go for the one from the 5. Receiver goes in motion. Sharp back to pass, taking it deep back almost to the 20-yard line. Now he's going to take off outside the hash marks. He's committed to having to throw it. Fires it to the near side of the end zone. Incomplete pass. And that'll keep it a 20-18 lead for the Iowa Woo. 2 minutes even to go here in the second quarter. The conclusion of the half is coming up next. Two minutes left until halftime. It's the Iowa Woo leading the Monroe Greenheads 20-18 here in this Arena League season opener. John Mowinkle with you here, and Red Panda is going to perform at halftime inside the dome. So I'll keep that going on the YouTube broadcast so you can check that out as well. So the throw-off is pending here. It was a 13-yard touchdown throw from Vernon Sharp to Trey Henderson. The one-point conversion attempt was no good. And the throw-off is coming up momentarily here for Iowa. The throw-offs take place from near the back of the end zone, then they take the approach, and the throw ultimately comes from near the goal line. It goes from goal to goal. Turpin on the return, takes it down the left hash mark, and a rather short return here for Monroe. All right, so now it's time for the 2-minute offense to break out here for the Greenheads with 1:55 to go until halftime. Iowa received the opening throw-off. So that means Monroe possibly with a chance for a 2-for-1 here if they time this right. Again, it doesn't take too long to score. And we are ready to roll here. McLean back to pass, lefty QB, loads up deep, and if this is caught, it's going to be 6, and it is. Holy smokes, a quick strike. This one caught by Mark Britt II. 41 yards on that one, and just like that, the Greenheads have the longest play of the game so far to immediately take the lead straight back. Mark Britt II, touchdown receptions of 37 and 41 yards. Both of his catches are for scores. That's now the third touchdown pass of the game by Timmy McLean as well of Monroe. So they're going to go for 2. McLean takes the shotgun snap. He's back to throw, dancing out of the pocket. Now he's got to throw to the back of the end zone, and it sails incomplete and out of bounds. Monroe 24, Iowa 20, with $1:49 until half. That play took just 6 seconds. A 6-second, one-play scoring drive. Back in a moment. A minute, 49 seconds to go until halftime. Monroe 24, Iowa 20. A 41-yard touchdown pass from Timmy McLean to Mark Britt II. For McLean's third touchdown of the game, and Britt's second. So the throw off coming out for Monroe. From left to right, from south to north, here on this Unidome field, the throw-off coming from James Herrard, and this one is returnable from the corner of the field. Returnable for Iowa, as this guy sheds a tackle. C.J. Leggett cuts back to the right, now cuts to the left, across the 25-yard line, down to the 20 of Monroe, and fantastic starting field position here for Iowa to try to see if they can strike back here once again. C.J. Leggett went to college, played his football at Mercer. Hometown is Suwanee, Georgia. New running back for the team because they lost most of their rushing production from last season. So a minute 39 until half. Monroe leads it 24-20. Couldn't quite understand what exactly the ref was saying there with all these reverberations in here. It is going to be a penalty of some sort against Monroe, so that'll take it down to the 14-yard line. How about this? 14 yards to score for Iowa. So they have a chance to take the lead straight back here. I wonder if they try to take their time here, considering the quick strikeability that Monroe has showed here in this game so far. So here comes Vernon Sharp. Alone in the shotgun, he fakes the jet sweep handoff. Dancing back to throw. He's got to throw and heaves it out the back of the end zone, incomplete. That's a new layer here in this arena football scene with the quarterback. Because if you're a quarterback and you show you're gonna pass, if you're gonna take off to run at that point, you have to keep it in between the hash marks. And then once you get past the line of scrimmage, then you can go outside the hash marks. But if you decide to run, you could not have possibly gone outside the hash marks. So if you do go outside the hash marks while showing pass, then you've committed to having to pass the ball. Here's a handoff to the running back. That's Leggett taking it right down inside the 10-yard line and turns the corner. And a flag comes in after he gains about 7 to 8 yards. But we'll see what happens here. So they'll stop the clock for the penalty with a minute 24 to go until halftime. Jalen Chestnut out of East Texas Baptist University called for the holding. Now Iowa Wu tight end, so that'll back him up 10 yards. Back to the 24-yard line, which is just in front of midfield on this 50-yard field. $1:24 to go until halftime. Monroe 24, Iowa 20. And now it's going to be 2nd and 20 for the Woo at the 24-yard line of Monroe. Receiver motions left. Here's the snap. Back to Sharp. Almost gets sacked. Now takes off between the hash marks after faking the throw. Still on his feet. Gets back to the original line of scrimmage. Down to the 10-yard line and inside. And a great run that time around. That'll pick up about 15, 16 yards by Vernon Sharp with his feet. So that turns it into a 3rd down and very manageable. They'll say he gained 15. Sharp now 8 rushes, 78 yards to lead Iowa. 3rd and 5 from the 10-yard line. Line to gain is just inside the 5. And the Woo are using a bunch of clock here on this possession now. It's down to 40 seconds. And the Woo call a timeout. So let's take a look at some of the stats here in this one. I mentioned Vernon Sharp, the quarterback of Iowa, 8 rushes for 78 yards, including a touchdown. Good for 9.75 per carry. Through the air, he's just 5 of 15 for 29 yards, including a touchdown and 2 interceptions. Top receiver right now is Leslie Owusu. 2 catches for 18 yards. Kyron Smith has 1 for 1 yard, which was a touchdown. Meanwhile, Monroe quarterback Timmy McLean is 6 of 12 for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Their only rush attempt of the game was a 10-yard sack by McLean, so just negative 10 yards on the ground for 90 yards total for Monroe. Iowa total yardage 136. 29 through the air, 107 on the ground. So timeout is done. 39 seconds to go here until halftime. 3rd and 5 Iowa at the 10-yard line of Monroe. There's a motion man in the backfield. That's Owusu. Now it's Sharp. Evades a sack. Throws it right. It's going to be caught, but shy of the sticks. Running into the boards over on the far side. And it's going to be 4th down and short. So the Woo call a timeout here after Sharp fires that one down for 4 yards. Let's see exactly who that was, but there's 24 seconds on the clock now. And Iowa has a couple of downs to work with here. And again, Monroe will receive the second half kickoff, so this is good that Iowa is running a lot of clock on this possession. Man, who was that on the... That was number 15, Jalen Chestnut making that catch. All right. So that was a gain of 4 yards for him through the air. Now Sharp taking off to the left. Now keeping it between the hash marks, stumbles down right at the line to gain. And I think they've got just enough for a Woo 1st down. There's 14 seconds. And there's Victor Mann out on the field, down to 9 seconds. Sharp carried it forward for about 2 yards. Down to 4 seconds, last play of the half. Sharp, back to pass, pump fakes, now throws to the end zone, batted and incomplete. And that will bring us to halftime. The Woo come up empty on a short scoring drive opportunity. We've reached the half. It's Monroe 24, Iowa 20 here on Radio on the Go Sports. All right, here comes Red Panda Acrobat. I'll turn it over here and let you take a look at this one for yourself. right, Red Panda just brought the house down. We are at halftime of this Arena League game. The Monroe Greenheads lead the Iowa Woo 24-20. John Mowinkle with you here for this Arena League season opener. And let's take a look at some of the numbers here so far. Vernon Sharp, the Iowa Woo QB, 6 of 17 passing, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. His longest pass of the game, just 12 yards so far. He's also the leading rusher with 9 for 80, including a touchdown, long of 19. The score was 14 yards. Also a rushing touchdown for Trey Henderson. He's got 2 carries for 20 yards. The rushing score was from 13 yards out. Leading receiver, Leslie Owusu, 2 for 18 with a long of 12. 1 touchdown reception by Kyvon Smith. He has one reception for 1 yard, which did happen to be a score. Meanwhile, for Monroe, quarterback Timmy McLean, 6 of 12 passing for 100 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. His 2 touchdown passes were of 37 and 41 yards, both to Mark Britt II, who has 2 for 78 with those 2 scores. And the Woo are going to have to tighten up that secondary because they have gotten beaten on those deep balls twice, and it was pretty uncontested on those pass attempts from McLean to Britt. So 2 wide open touchdowns for him in the second quarter. And Monroe may have found something. If they can keep going to that play, that might bode well for them. Iowa came up just short of scoring right before the half. They were down inside the 5-yard line, but time ran out on them after using up all their timeouts. And they were not able to stop the clock again. Had 1 more play to go with 4 seconds, and it was an incomplete pass. And Monroe is going to receive the second half throw-off here. So they have a chance to do some more damage here. If they score, they would go up by multiple possessions at that point. But it's been back and forth for the most part here so far. Iowa struck first, but Monroe has been able to strike a couple times here as well and take the lead over the Iowa Woo. Iowa coming off of a 4-4 season last year. Finished 3rd in the league standings. Monroe is an expansion team, so this is their first ever game. Iowa is coming off of a 57-0 preseason win over the Twin City Tundra last week, but you can't really take a whole lot away from that just because of the fact that that team is in a different league. They have some different rules that they typically play by as well, so that would not be, if you're the Twin Cities Tundra, that would not be great to have to come down here and play different rules than you're used to. But that was the situation last week for the Woo. And now they have some work to do. They will start on defense here with a 4-point deficit, 24-20 against the Monroe Greenheads. All right, I'll take a timeout. The second half is coming up next. Just about time for the second half here inside the Unidome. The Monroe Greenheads lead the Iowa Woo 24-20. This is one of 3 Arena League games going on tonight. The season opener for the entire league was last night down in Hot Springs, where the St. Joe Goats got a 40-14 win over the Arkansas Diamonds. So St. Joe with a big victory last night. Also going on tonight, Nebraska is hosting Memphis, and at halftime it is 14-12 in favor of Nebraska. Also Ozarks is playing host to Eau Claire tonight, and right now it's 24-14. Ozarks at halftime. So both other games at halftime tonight as well. And we are moments away from our second half throw off here. And again, Monroe is scheduled to receive the second half throw off because Iowa received the opening throw off and started on offense. It is a throw off, not a kickoff. There is no kicking whatsoever in this league. So it's simply a throw from the end zone rather than a traditional kickoff, which would come from about a third away up the field. So teams are doing their final warm-ups, and Iowa's going to have some work to do here defensively because the last 2 drives, Monroe has struck for deep touchdown passes. Here's a look at what's ahead for the Iowa Woo. They will be on the road to take on Memphis next Saturday night. These are all night games except for the very last one. It'll be a 4:05 start. Back at home on Saturday, June 13th to take on the St. Joe Goats. Saturday, June 20th, they'll be at Eau Claire. Saturday the 27th, they'll be at Nebraska. And then on July 10th, that's a Friday nighter, they'll be at St. Joe. Then on Saturday, July 18th, they'll be back home against Eau Claire, and we'll finish the regular season on Sunday, July 26th against the Nebraska Siege. So all Iowa Woo home games will air here on 99 The Wave and Radio on the Go on YouTube, the first of 4 coming up here throughout the summer months. So 3 straight on the road during the middle of the season, and then 2 straight at home to end the 8-game regular season. 4 at home, 4 on the road. They keep it pretty symmetrical here in the Arena League. And it's still a league that's, fairly in its infancy stages. So still a lot of room for this to grow and really kind of rise to prominence here in the central United States. You got teams in Iowa, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Tennessee, Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana. So it is definitely a growing league for sure. They started with only 4 teams 2 years ago, and they've doubled that here already. All right, so just about ready to resume action here. The crowd here inside the dome is all sitting on the west side of the stadium. Not a ton of people here. Maybe about 100 or so. But when they make noise, it does still get pretty loud in here. So Iowa will throw off from right to left down to the south end of the Unidome field. And here comes the throw off from Vernon Sharp. It's going to bounce and be returnable from the end zone for Jatarius Turpin of Monroe. Jukes around down along the far side boards, gets out across the 5-yard line, will be down around the 6. So a long field to drive here for Monroe, but that has not stopped them. They had a 41-yard touchdown pass late in the first half. So Iowa will look to tighten things up in the secondary and prevent that from happening here again. So here we go. McLean starts in the shotgun. With a halfback to his right, he takes the pass. Back to throw from the end zone. Dances the feed. He's going to get spun down and sacked in the end zone for a safety. Apollo Johnson to sling him down. And Iowa is back to within 2 points. Just exactly what they needed. Apollo Johnson with a big-time sack. So we'll call that negative rushing yards once again for Timmy McLean. 2 rushes for negative 16. How about that? Apollo Johnson with the sack for a safety. 14 minutes and 14 seconds to go here in the third quarter. Just underway in the second half. It's Monroe 24, Iowa 22, and now the Woo have got to take advantage. They got exactly what they needed and then some out of that defensive series. So Monroe brings in some new personnel here for this throw-off. Still will just be the traditional throw-off here. And this one's going to come from James Herard out of North Miami, Florida. All right, here's the throw-off. Sails down to the end zone. It will be returnable for Iowa. Running to the right, this is Ahmad Butler out of Phoenix City, Alabama. Taking it perpendicular and does not get very far out of the end zone on that one. In fact, they're going to place it down at the 4-yard line. That is where the Woo will take over. So 46 yards to go to score here for Iowa. With 13 and a half to go here in the third quarter, trailing 24-22 against the Monroe Greenheads, an expansion franchise. Down here along the boards on the northeast corner, you got some people sitting in rocking chairs on a platform that's elevated a little bit. They took the regular football field out of the dome here, and now it's just the track surface that they got with the Arena League field laid down on top. It's a QB keeper here for Sharp. Takes it up the hash marks on the left side, out across the 10-yard line, and forward progress will be stopped. What appears to be just a little bit shy of the sticks. Run down here on the near side by Jalen King and others of Monroe. Out to the 12-yard line, so that'll be a pickup of, I'll call it 7 yards on the play by Vernon Sharp. Now 10 rushes for 87 yards, averaging 8.7 a crack. Here's the snap, back to Sharp, looks to throw. Steps up in the pocket, fires it deep, down to the end zone. Oh, it's incomplete. Looking for Leslie Owusu, ran into the boards down along the back of the end zone. Almost made an acrobatic play, and now we've got an injury timeout for one of the members of the Monroe secondary. Looks to have had a collision with him, and now he is down on the field in the end zone as well. 12 minutes and 9 seconds left in the third quarter. Monroe 24, Iowa 22. And an injury timeout here for the Greenheads, rocking the all-white uniforms. And this could be bad news again for Monroe. Earlier in the game, their head coach, Terry Bowden, got knocked over and ultimately had to be taken out on a stretcher. He was standing up right after the collision, so I'm guessing he was taken out just for precautionary reasons because he was upright, alert and everything. And they decided to put him on the stretcher and bring him out of here, wave to the crowd and things like that. But those are the types of things that you really would only see on the arena football scene. Because, I mean, yeah, the coaching staff at that point, the play was going on clear at the opposite end of the field. It was an interception return back deep to the other side. And there's some crazy developments here in arena football. So the injured player here for Monroe is back up on his feet to carry on Jackson, who is from Monroe, Louisiana, right there in playing in his hometown. He'll jog back over to the sideline, so he looks to be all right. 12 minutes and 9 seconds left here in the third quarter. Monroe 24, Iowa 22. And it'll be 3rd down and 3 for the Woo, back at their own 12-yard line. It was a 7-yard rush by Vernon Sharp, and he fired an incomplete pass looking for Owusu down to the end zone. So here we go, 3rd and 3. Empty backfield with Sharp. Receiver in motion upfield. Sharp back to pass. Loads up and pump fakes, sets the feet, fires it over the middle. He's got an intended receiver out across the 25-yard line into Monroe territory for the Iowa first down. Kai Von Smith out of Independence, Missouri makes the snag to move the sticks down into Monroe territory. $14 yards on that one right there. Now it's going to be a quarterback run. Here's Sharp, takes it down inside the 20-yard line. The ball might have come free, but he was down on the ground. They'll spot it down to just inside the 19-yard line. We will call that a gain of 5 yards on the ground for Sharp. 92 yards on 11 rushes here for Vernon Sharp, the QB. He's back to pass, now rolls out to the right, and he's still gonna, he flings the ball over to the sideline as he was getting sacked. It didn't cross the line of scrimmage, and a flag comes in. He released the ball right as he was getting slung down for a sack, and now the officials are getting together. And another flag has been thrown.
Intentional grounding. Offensive number 6. Required boundary spot. Lost down. 3rd down.
All right, so there you have it. Intentional grounding has been called. And that's a pretty easy call to make right there. And you heard it as well, loss of down. And that'll back it up to a 3rd down and 9. Short 9, long 8 is the distance to gain here, we'll call it. Got to get just inside the 15-yard line. And the ball is spotted at the 24-yard line in Monroe territory. So Sharp will line up in the shotgun. And there is a receiver that lines up about 5 yards behind him, but always motions out to one side or another right before the snap. And now there's movement up front. And obviously a flag comes in immediately. All right, so it is going to go against Monroe. Jalen King, one of the defensive backs out on the edge, jumped across the neutral zone, so they said that it was not because of any movement on the offense. 3rd and a long, 3 coming up now, as they're down to the 18-yard line of Monroe. Receiver comes in motion, sweep play to the left side. First down yardage here along the sideboards. From the 18 down to about the 11-yard line, this will be a pickup of 7 yards by Trey Henderson on that end around. Henderson now 3 carries, 28 yards. The Woo, as it seems, 17 rushes for 129 yards. Quarterback Vernon Sharp, 7 of 18. He fakes the handoff, looks to pass to the corner of the end zone near side, and it is incomplete. Intended receiver down there, Leslie Owusu, down to the knees in the corner of the end zone. Unfortunately, because of the sideboards, that is screened off of my view. But another incompletion there through the air by Sharp. He's now 7 of 19, 47 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. 2nd and 10 Iowa at the 11-yard line of Monroe. Sharp now alone in the backfield with a single receiver each side. He's going to pass under heavy pressure, trying to evade a sack, and he can't get away from it. He is going to go down in the backfield. Jalen King there to make the sack for Monroe. That'll back him up to the 20-yard line. A loss of 9 yards on the ground by Sharp on that sack. The first negative play of the game for Iowa. 8:56 to go here in the third quarter. Monroe 24, Iowa 22. And it's 3rd and forever now. 3rd and 19, they're calling it. Here's Sharp, dropping back, steps up, looks to throw, fires to the end zone. It is caught for the Iowa touchdown. Trey Henderson leaps up just left of center, and Iowa has taken the lead back midway through the third quarter. That was a great dart from the arm of Vernon Sharp, the Iowa Woo quarterback. And the Woo will go for 2. Go for 2 to try to extend this lead as much as possible. Motioning to the backfield now is Owusu. Here's Sharp to pass. Rolls right, back to the left, and then back to the right. Fires it from the 20-yard line. It's incomplete. Through the hands of his intended receiver, as it was knocked free by Dontarion Ferguson, the defensive back of Monroe. But with that, Iowa goes in front, 28-24, with 7:39 left in the third quarter. A 20-yard touchdown pass from Vernon Sharp to Trey Henderson, and Iowa takes a 28-24 lead with 7:39 to go in the third quarter. And now the Woo will throw off, leading for the first time here in the third. And Vernon Sharp, the QB, standing along the end board. Getting ready to put this one in play. And now the officials signal, go ahead. Here it comes. Angles right, returnable for Turpin of Monroe. Dancing around back inside the 10-yard line. Slides the hips through contact at about the 15 and across. So they'll have about a third of the field to drive here on this possession. They started the third quarter back inside their own 5-yard line and ended up getting sacked in the end zone for a safety. So that got Iowa back to within 2 points. It was 24-20 to start the half. Then it was 24-22, and now Iowa leads 28-24. Wide open over the middle down to the 20-yard line. This one's caught by Mark Britt II. And he is the favorite receiver so far for Monroe quarterback Timmy McLean. This one goes all the way down to the 16-yard line in Iowa territory. Here's McLean once again. Fires it to the near side. This time it's Lloyd. Shuffles around and down inside the 10-yard line. It'll be first and goal to go here for Monroe, down inside the 5 at the 4. And this Greenhead offense has been able to strike quickly pretty much the entire game. McLean back to pass, takes off outside the hash marks, gets into the end zone, and a flag comes in. And here's the referee.
Illegal quarterback run. Quarterback ran inside the 5-yard line. 10-yard penalty for being spot. First down.
All right, there you have it. So 10-yard penalty from the spot. That'll back it up to the 14-yard line. That's another wrinkle in the rule book of the Arena League here about running inside the 5-yard line like that. So now first and goal from the 15. McLean back to pass. Flings it out left. One-arm catch is made by Turpin. Jukes around for no gain. But a beautiful snag over there on the far side of the field. Down to 6 minutes to go in the third quarter, with Iowa leading 28-24. McLean to pass. Backs up, fires to the end zone, caught for the Monroe touchdown. And the Greenheads go back in front, 30-28. C.J. Brown out of Monroe, Louisiana, making that snag in the back of the end zone. They'll go for 2 from the 10-yard line. They'll put a running back in the formation, but they have not rushed at all tonight. McLean to pass. It's going to be caught at the 5-yard line, turning the corner, and James Herard is in for the 2-point conversion. Monroe 32, Iowa 28, 4:57 to go, third quarter. Kyvon Smith returns a throw off out to the 6-yard line in their own territory. And with 4:41 to go in the third quarter, the Monroe Greenheads lead the Iowa Woo 32-28. Iowa will return to action next week at Memphis. And then we'll be back at home on Saturday, June 13th for their second home game of the season. All 4 of those will air on 99 The Wave. So Iowa playing from behind again. We'll start back at their own 6-yard line. And this is about the longest field that they've had to drive in the game so far. So here's Sharp, takes the low snap. He's back to pass. Being flushed upfield, and he gets it away. It's going to be caught on the run by Henderson. Takes it out across the 20-yard line. Decent yardage there for a Woo first down. Picks up about 15 yards out to the 21-yard line in their own territory. Sharp now 9 of 21, passing for 88 yards. First and 10 Woo at their own 21. Sharp throws it left. Caught here along the near sideline by Smith. Takes it out across the 20-yard line. First down yardage down to the 15 of Monroe. Let's see, 22 to the 15. That is 13 yards across the 25. Receiver in motion. Sharp to pass. Over the middle. Incomplete. Smith was surrounded by 2 defenders, and he could not haul it in. By the way, with that last completion, Woo quarterback Vernon Sharp got up over 100 yards, now 101. 10 of 23 passing, good for 10.1 yards per completion. You got Henderson here on the near side. Sharp looking to pass. He's right outside the hash marks. He's got a throw now, and he fires it over top the boards and out of bounds. Owusu, the intended receiver, leaps up. Really no chance to make that play. So second straight incompletion now for Sharp, after he had completed 3 straight for his longest streak of the game so far. Now it'll bring up third down and 10 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the third quarter. Motion man to the backfield. And here's the snap to Sharp. Over the middle, it's caught on the right side, just outside the hash marks. Kyvon Smith there to haul it in on the short curl. But it'll bring up fourth down at the 11-yard line of Monroe. That one only gains about 4 yards. By the way, Smith now 4 catches, 32 yards. Fourth down and 6. The line to gain is the 5-yard line. They are at the 11. Two receivers here to the near side and one out right. Who motions now to the left and a tight end right. One of them falls down. Sharp gets rid of it. It's caught along the sideline, dancing into the end zone for the Woo score. Touchdown Iowa on fourth down and 6. This one from 11 yards out. And that guy is not on the roster that Iowa sent. All right, that's nice. They'll go for 2 from the 10-yard line. Down to 55 seconds left in the third quarter, as Iowa takes a 34-32 lead. Here's Sharp to pass, going for 2, incomplete, well past the back of the end zone, looking for Leslie Owusu. 45 seconds left in the third quarter. Iowa 34, Monroe 32, here in this Arena League season opener. 45 seconds left in the third quarter. Iowa Woo 34, Monroe Greenheads 32. Here comes the throw off. And this will be returnable from the end zone as it takes a bounce. And Mark Britt II able to spin out of the end zone, at least for a little bit, but not a whole lot of yardage there. And a flag comes in. They'll stop the clock with 30 seconds. And we'll get the call here from the head referee. The flag was right down to the 1 yard line. Well, that one hurts right there because instead of starting from the 1 yard line, they'll start from the 16 instead. And on this Arena League field, which is 50 yards long, that is a huge difference. I mean, obviously it's a big difference in traditional football as well, but just the percentage of the field that a 15-yard penalty is pretty major when you're only talking about 50 yards. So they'll move it up to the 16-yard line. And here we go. Back to pass. Rolling out to the left is McLean. Now back to the middle. He has to throw since he left the hash marks. He fires it downfield, caught shy of the 25-yard line. Now C.J. Brown gets away. Someone's lid comes off. They're all the way down to about the 16-yard line on the other side. So someone's helmet came flying off. From the 16 to the 15, a gain of 19 yards through the air to C.J. Brown for his second catch of the game for 24 yards. And that'll bring us to the end of the third quarter. Iowa 34, Monroe 32. Back for the fourth quarter next.
Email radio@radioonthego.com to grow your business with On The Go Digital. Locally owned and operated in Hampton, Iowa.
Christensen Jewelry of Hampton is North Iowa's go-to store for a gift that will be truly treasured. From wedding and engagement rings to a present for someone special, we have over 17,000 pieces of fine jewelry, gemstones, gifts, and decor. Known for quality repair, jewelry and watch restoration, and custom design. Stop in and discover our wonderful store in downtown Hampton, or shop online and have your items shipped right to you. Go to christensenjewelry.com right now and see why people from around the Midwest come to Christensen's.
Murphy's Heating and Plumbing, because you deserve the best.
Ready to refresh your bath or kitchen? Murphy's Heating and Plumbing has your perfect match. From stunning showers to modern toilets, explore endless possibilities in Murphy's exclusive vendor showroom. Stop by on Highway 3 East in Hampton or call for your personal showroom tour. Murphy's Heating and Plumbing, transforming your dreams into reality.
Murphy's Heating and Plumbing, because you deserve the best.
Ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Join the Radio on the Go Travel Club for a summer 2026 cruise to Alaska. Get ready to experience glaciers, wildlife, and breathtaking views that you won't find anywhere else. Here's Derek from Crown Jewel Travel to tell us more.
From towering mountains to stunning coastlines, Alaska is the ultimate destination for nature lovers, thrill seekers, and anyone looking to make unforgettable memories. This isn't just a cruise, it's a journey into the wild beauty of the last frontier. Want to learn more and reserve your spot? Contact me at 641-425-8068 for all the details. This is a trip I'm not going to miss, and I'd love to have you there with me.
Again, contact Crown Jewel Travel to learn more. 641-425-8068. Don't miss out. Start planning your Alaska adventure today with the Radio on the Go Travel Club and Crown Jewel Travel.
Looking to skyrocket your brand's visibility? Look no further. On the Go Media delivers cutting-edge digital advertising solutions tailored just for you. Reach your audience wherever they are with precision targeting and captivating content. Elevate your brand with On the Go Media. Your digital success starts here. Contact us today. Email radio@radioonthego.com to grow your business with On the Go Digital. Locally owned and operated in Hampton, Iowa.
Iowa 34, Monroe 32 as we head to the fourth quarter in this Arena League season opener. Monroe has it first down and 10 at the 15-yard line of Iowa. They just had a 19-yard pass completion from Timmy McLean to C.J. Brown to get into scoring position here. Greenheads down by 2. McLean dumps it off to the left. And Frederick Lloyd makes the short catch and gets toppled over after a very short gain. This will be about 1-2 yards on that catch. That is the shortest play of the day officially for Monroe. Now a flag comes in at the snap here on 2nd down and 8. And the initial indication is against Iowa.
Offside. Defense number 0. Flag penalty. Second down.
Thomas Lanier got caught in the neutral zone, and that'll be a 5-yard penalty. Monroe will march it down inside the 10-yard line, down to the 8. So the Woo are giving up 3 yards here in a crucial time in the game. And they fake the handoff. They'll throw it left side. Brown makes the catch and bangs into the sideboards. And this will be just enough for a first down. Gain of 5 yards through the air to C.J. Brown. Not too bad of a game through the air so far for Greenhead quarterback Timmy McLean. 10 of 16. Now he's back to pass again. Fires this one incomplete right at the goal line. 10 of 17, 131 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. So 13:40 to go here in the game. The Woo lead it 34-32. 2nd down and goal. This is a run right. They tried switching it up a little bit. Jatarius Turpin took it right and got swallowed up for a loss of 3. That was the first rush attempt of the game that was not a sack. And that'll make it 3rd and goal from the 7. So officially 3 rushing plays, and they've all gone backwards. Negative 19 yards on the ground for Monroe. Now McLean to pass on 3rd and goal from the 7. Now he dances out left. He's got to throw now. Fires to the back of the end zone, incomplete. Quad Smith reached up and got his fingertips on it, but could not haul it in with the sideboards in his way. That'll bring up 4th and goal from the 7 here for Monroe. And again, the options on 4th down obviously would be to go for it. Not that you would do it at this part of the field, but you could surrender as well. That would give the other team the ball at their own 15. But going for it on 4th and goal from the 7 now. And Monroe needs points. McLean to pass, stands to the feet in the pocket, looks to throw. Now he shuffles out to the right, fires it with his left hand, back of the end zone. Touchdown Monroe. This one caught by Quad Smith, the former Akron Zip. And the Greenheads take the lead after that 7-yard touchdown pass. They will go for 2 from the 10-yard line. I misspoke earlier. That was actually the 5th touchdown pass of the game by McLean. I said he had 3 earlier, but he actually had 4. Quad Smith with his 2nd reception of the game, his 1st for a touchdown. Now 2 for 17 yards. Here's the 2-point conversion attempt. McLean dumps it out to the left. A one-armed catch is made by Turpin. He hauls it in and takes it up the sideboards, but not nearly enough to get in. So with 11:31 to go in the game, it's Monroe 38, Iowa 34. .31 to go in the fourth quarter. Monroe Greenheads 38, Iowa Woo 34. It was a 7-yard touchdown pass from Timmy McLean to Quad Smith. The 2-point conversion attempt was no good, but Monroe takes the lead back in what's been a back-and-forth game. Neither team has led by more than a singular possession, and this ball is returnable. Back from the end zone by Kyvon Smith of the Woo. He takes it out across the 10-yard line. And the Woo will have decent starting field position. They'll place it down at the 13-yard line in their own territory. Plenty of time left, well within distance. But one of these teams is going to have to figure out how to come up with a stop here in this fourth quarter. Iowa did get a big one right at the beginning of the period. Of the third period, I should say, when they got a sack in the end zone by Apollo Johnson. Took down Timmy McLean in there for a safety. And that was a drive where Monroe could have taken a 2-score lead. So here's Sharp back to pass, deep drop back, dumps out left, and it's incomplete. Intended receiver was Trey Henderson, who is the leading returning receiver, 21 receptions last year to lead the Woo. 288 yards on the year and 8 touchdowns. Hometown is Terrell, Texas. 2nd down and 10 now after the incompletion. Sharp now 12 of 27 passing, 116 yards. Looking to throw again. Right along the hash marks, he heaves it to the near side where it's caught by Henderson. Tries turning away from contact, and this will only gain about 5 yards. Now to the 19-yard line. About halfway between the 18 and 19 to bring up 2nd down and 5. Back to throw. They'll head to the left side with Owusu. Gets a first down out across the 20. About from 118 down to the other. I'll call it the 19, actually. Let's do some quick math there. 13 yards. Leslie Owusu, of course, a former UNI Panther, getting a chance to play here in the Dome once again. Sharp to pass again on 1st down and 10 at the 19-yard line of Monroe. Steps up, throws left, intercepted by Trevor Guano of the Greenheads. Down at the 9-yard line in their own territory. And what a killer that is for the Woo. A crucial interception by Vernon Sharp. His 3rd of the game. And the Greenheads will take over deep in their own territory. All right. right, now Iowa's going to have to come up with a big-time stop defensively as we're down under 10 minutes to go in regulation. 9:08 to play with Monroe leading 38-34. Here's McLean out of the shotgun looking to pass. He throws it left. He's got his receiver shy of the 10-yard line. Nice tackle made in space by Jamie Vicente Colon out of Lake Erie College out of Apopka, Florida. So that only gains about 3 yards through the air on the 20th pass attempt of the game by McLean. He's 12 of 20. That one is C.J. Brown. Now there is movement at the snap. A flag comes in. They let it go on. Brown with a snag here on the near side, but we'll see what the flag is about, as this ends up gaining about 7 yards or so. But we'll see what the penalty flag is, depending on which team it was. Must have been on the defense. Otherwise, they would have blown it dead if it was on the offense. So yeah, easy to accept that penalty there, because the 5 yards, while you got a few more yards on the catch than you would have for the penalty, it would have been 3rd down instead of 2nd. So probably a good decision here to accept the penalty and make it 2nd and 3. That'll move it up to the 13-yard line in their own territory. 8:23 and ticking to go in the game. McLean takes the shotgun snap and looks to throw with his left hand. Dumps it off over the middle. Short catch is made by Frederick Lloyd. And still on his feet out to the 25-yard line and across. Picks up about 14 yards on that one. Lloyd makes his first catch of the game. McLean 13 of 21, 155 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. 1st and 10 Monroe at the 24-yard line of Iowa. With 7:45 to go in the game, Monroe leading 38-34. Letting the play clock run down. It's at 9 right now. And this place quiets down. Now looking over to the far side. Down to 1 to snap. They do get it off. And it is a handoff to the running back in the backfield. And this will be no gain. Jamie Vicente Colon there to cause the disruption right at the line of scrimmage. Detarius Turpin, the running back, goes nowhere. No gain on the play. That was their first non-negative rush of the game, but it wasn't positive either. It was 0. 2nd and 10 here from Monroe at the Iowa 24. And now they're starting to use a lot more time between snaps. Here's a throw to the left. They've got Turpin. They'll gain about 3 to 4 yards on that catch before he's run down over on the far side by Kyvon Smith and others of the Woo. So Turpin gains 4 yards there. It's now 3rd down and 6. Need to get it down to the 14 to pick up the first. Play clock down to 9. There's movement up front. Now they blow it dead. It was tipped and intercepted, but it was well after the whistles.
Offside. Defense number 44. Contact. Minor penalty. 3rd down.
Apollo Johnson jumped into the neutral zone, made contact with an opponent, and that will be a 5-yard penalty. Not quite enough for a first down, but it'll be 3rd and 1 instead, as they'll move it down to the 15, with the line to gain being the 14. This will actually be like 3rd and inches, the way it looks from here. Down to 6:07 to go in the game. And a crucial drive here for the Monroe Greenheads, leading 38-34, a chance to go up 2 scores. Letting the play clock run down. It's at 5. Here's the snap to McLean. Throws it left. Caught for a first down, and a flag comes in. Might be a face mask. Job Perrin, where's number 4? He is listed as a linebacker on the roster, but he was there to make the catch. But we'll see what the flag is about here. I think I did see a face mask. Yep. Willie Miles III out of Prairie View A&M commits the face mask penalty here for Iowa. And that'll give Monroe a first down at the 4-yard line of the Woo. .5:47 to go. Clock stopped right now for the penalty. Now they run it. Play clock at 14, and the quarterback there is just standing there. He's not even ready to take the snap because he knows it's not going to come for a while here. They snap it at 4. McLean rolls left, so he commits to throw. It's going to be caught near the corner of the end zone, but it is a little bit short. And they weren't able to get it to Joe Perrin once again for what will officially now be his first catch of the game. After the previous one did not count due to the penalty. All right. Second and goal here for Monroe. The flag comes in, and the running back gets in for a touchdown, Jatarius Turpin. However, it appears like this one will not count as they'll stop it here with 4:44 to go. And some turnovers and costly penalties.
Illegal defense. Player on the nose was not in the 3-point stance. That penalty is declined. Result of play. Touchdown.
The nose guard was not in a 3-point stance. That seems pretty fundamental right there. Having to follow the rules of the league, and that's discipline right there. So that is going to be a touchdown for the Woo, as Jatarius Turpin takes it in for the first positive rush of the game, believe it or not. So now they'll go for 1 from the 5-yard line. And back to pass is McLean. To the end zone, tipped and incomplete. Willie Miles III there to make the deflection. So it remains a 10-point lead here for the Monroe Greenheads over the Iowa Woo. 44-34 with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game. I'll be back in a sec.
Did you know Murphy's does water softeners? That's right. Check with Murphy's Heating and Plumbing for water right softeners and filtered drinking water systems for your home. Soft water is important for washing and bathing, and great tasting drinking water. Well, everyone loves that. Get your water right water softener or drinking water system today in Hampton at Murphy's. Also with water heaters, new toilets, furnace filters, and more in stock.
Murphy's Heating and Plumbing, because you deserve the best.
Christensen Brewery of Hampton is
4:30 to go in the game. Monroe 44, Iowa 34. I wouldn't call it the dagger at this point, but it was a crucial drive by the Greenheads. Capped off by a 2-yard touchdown run by Jatarius Turpin. Their first positive rush of the game goes for 6. On what's been an air raid team here tonight. James Herrard with throw-off. And returnable for Iowa from the end zone with C.J. Leggett. Takes it out to the left side and crashes into the sideboards around the 11. All right, the Iowa offense is going to have to move quickly and then get a stop. And then move quickly again. 4 minutes and 16 seconds to go. And again, it is a running clock league. It will only stop for penalties and changes of possession. Even after a touchdown, it still runs between the touchdown and the 1 or 2 point conversion attempt. Stopped right now because they haven't snapped it yet. But here we go. They will mark it down to the 12-yard line. That is where Iowa will start this drive. Sharp in the shotgun. He sends a receiver in motion, and here's the snap. Look at the pass. Throws right. And it is caught here on the near side by Braden Bessie and tumbles down across the 25-yard line. That was Bessie's first catch of the game. From the 12, across the 25 to the 23. That's a gain of 15 yards through the air to Bessie. First and 10 for the Woo at the 23-yard line of Monroe. Bessie out of Loveland, Colorado. Down to 3:20 to go. And receiver motions. Here's a throw to the right side. Wide open was Braden Bessie again. First down yardage out to about the 10-yard line. That's a pickup of 13 yards. Make it 14. So back-to-back big gainers through the air to Braden Bessie for his first 2 catches of the game. Now first and goal from the 9 with 2:50 to play. Sharp to pass, pump fakes, now takes off to the right. Along the hash marks, he's going to take it upfield, tumbling down inside the 5. This is going to be close. I don't think he was officially outside the hash marks, so we'll call that good. No penalty there. And Sharp up to 90 yards rushing on his 13th attempt right there. 2:20 to play. Iowa needs to score fast. Receiver motions and Sharp to throw from the 2-yard line. Throws it to the back of the end zone. It was tipped up in the air and caught by one of the young fans down behind the end zone. Well, at least it wasn't intercepted. He's thrown 3 of those in the game so far tonight. And here's the 2-minute warning. All right, well, it's been a back and forth game, but a costly interception late by Vernon Sharp of Iowa gave Monroe a chance at what could be at this point a put-away drive. They lead it 44-34, and the Monroe Greenheads have a chance to win their first ever game here in the Arena League. First ever game as a franchise. And Iowa is staring 0-1 right in the face. So you need a score here. Then you need some stops. You're probably going to have to burn all your timeouts. And then get it back with, if you're lucky, maybe like 1:30 to play and no timeouts. And that's if they score on this play right here. Even then, you know, the clock still runs, so it becomes a conversation to use the timeout right after the touchdown at that point. All these different things that never come to mind whatsoever in traditional football, but with the tweaked rules here in the Arena League, really start to become a factor. So the 2-minute warning just about done here. Iowa has a 3rd and goal from the 2-yard line. Trailing 44-34. And what's actually been a little bit of a lower scoring game. A lot of games last year got into the 50s, sometimes even up into the 70s. All right. So 3rd and goal from the 2. Here's the snap to Sharp. Looks to pass, looks right. Now looking left. Still on his feet, back at the 15. Calling out signals and a flag comes in. This looks like holding. He steps up and throws. Batted around and intercepted by Monroe. And returned back out to the 2-yard line. And that is a killer right there. Jalen King with the interception. The 4th of the night for Sharp. There is a flag. If it's holding like I think it is, then the penalty would be declined and Monroe would take over. But we'll find out here in a second. Now the head referee is talking to one of his colleagues.
Both teams. Holding, offense number 13. Holding, defense number 5. Those penalties offset. Replay, third down.
Okay. So Iowa gets bailed out because of the fact that there were offsetting penalties. So it's as if that play didn't even count. A minute 45 to go in the game, with Monroe leading Iowa 44-34, and the Woo need a score bad. 2 downs to move it 2 yards. And then you'll probably just go for 2. I mean, I think you would probably have to at that point. So here we go, 3rd and goal from the 2. Here's the snap. And it's a sweep play left. It's going to be brought down for no gain at best. Bessie on the jet sweep carry. Took it on the end around for no gain. So 4th down and goal from the 2-yard line. Clock down to a minute 15, and this is it for the Woo. Fourth and goal from the 2. Sharp takes the shotgun snap. He rolls out left, looks to the end zone, pump fakes twice, and he gets driven into the wall. Play is blown dead. It is a sack, loss of 3 yards. Eric McIntosh Sr., the arena football veteran out of Florida Atlantic University, makes the sack, and that will put a bow on this one. .58 seconds left in the game, and the Greenheads take over with a 44-34 lead. They'll take over at their own 5-yard line and a couple of kneel downs away from finishing this off. So let's see how they handle this here. Both teams still do have all 3 timeouts, but it probably wouldn't matter too much. They are going to pass here. And it's a dump off here down the sideline. Still in space is Frederick Lloyd. Down inside the 15 to the 10. Holy smokes. Well, how about that for a put-away drive? From the 5 down to the 11, that's a gain of 34 to Frederick Lloyd. So the Woo used their first timeout with 48 seconds left here in the 4th quarter. Down by 10, 44-34. The Woo will return to action next week, going on the road for the first time this year. They will be at Memphis for a 7:05 opening throw-off. Back at home 2 weeks from today on Saturday, June 13th, to host the St. Joe Goats at 7:05. All Woo home games will air on 99 The Wave and Radio on the Go on YouTube. So we'll have that one against St. Joe. Then on July 18th, they'll host the Eau Claire Axemen. And then on July 26th, the home game against the Nebraska Siege to close out the regular season. 3 straight home games in the middle of the season means that Iowa will not play at home between June 13th and July 18th. Here's a run to the right. As Turpin takes right and cuts back to the left. And another timeout called by head coach Victor Mann in the Iowa Woo. Mann is a former Kansas State Wildcat. And that rush goes for about 3 yards. So that was their second timeout. Monroe still with all three. But hey, if you're the Monroe Greenheads, how about coming in here and getting your first win in franchise history and your first game in franchise history. And they'll return home next week to take on the Nebraska Siege, another expansion team. How about that? Starting your season 1-0 on the road, then getting to come home. It should be a rocking atmosphere next Saturday night inside the Monroe Civic Center, which, by the way, is the largest capacity stadium in this league. Now, obviously, this one is larger, but they only have seating on one side, so it's going to be a tackle for loss here on the run to the right. Like Lanier was in there to make the stop for the woo. And this is going to be the final timeout for Iowa. And with it being a 20-second play clock, you can't quite do the kneel down situation here if you don't gain first down yardage. The line to gain is the 1 yard line. So third down and 10. The spot of the ball and the down marker are not synced up right now. They got the down marker at the 10, but the ball is spotted at the 11. Fake handoff here. McLean gets rid of it, tosses left, finds his receiver. That's C.J. Brown for a short pickup here along the near sideline. They crash into the boards. And Kyvon Smith makes the stop. So they'll pick up about 4 yards there through the air. And the clock has stopped at 33 seconds to play. 4th down and 5 coming up here for Monroe. .33 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Monroe 44, Iowa 34. And the Greenheads going for it. Back to pass McLean. That was almost intercepted by Jamie Vicente Colon. Holy cow, how is that not picked off? It's a turnover on downs regardless. So Iowa has no timeouts left, 29 seconds left in the game, and they trail by 10. And it's going to need somewhat of a miracle at this point if they are to win this thing. But you got to see what you can draw up here. They'll start at their own 6-yard line. Man, if Vicente Colon could have brought that one back, given him some more yardage, that would have certainly helped things out. Yes, it would have run some more time off too, but we'll see what happens here. Starting at the 6-yard line in their own territory. And Monroe has 2 safeties back deep. So here's the snap. Too sharp. Looks to pass. Looking for the end zone down the right side. Incomplete. No pass interference. The intended receiver was Leslie Owusu. 2nd down and 10 coming up. Great coverage downfield by Dakarian Jackson. .22 seconds left. 2nd and 10 from their own 6 for the Iowa Woo. Now they got 2 receivers stacked left. 1 to the right and 1 motions right. Back to the pass is Sharp. He's in the end zone. Gets away from a sack. Throws it right. Finds his receiver. That's Trey Henderson. And there was a flag that came in, possibly in the area of holding. Henderson gained yardage out to the 16-yard line. And they keep it moving here. So 10 yards through the air that time to Henderson. And now back to pass once again. Deep downfield toward the end zone. And intercepted in the end zone by Monroe. And that will be it. Picked off by Eric McIntosh. And the clock hits 0. The 4th interception of the game, thrown by Vernon Sharp, ends the game. The Iowa Woo fall to the Monroe Greenheads, 44-34. Post-game coverage is next.
Iowa's go-to store for a gift that will be truly treasured. From wedding and engagement rings to a present for someone special, we have over 17,000 pieces of fine jewelry, gemstones, gifts, and decor. Known for quality repair, jewelry and watch restoration, and custom design. Stop in and discover our wonderful store in downtown Hampton, or shop online and have your items shipped right to you. Go to christensenjewelry.com right now and see why people from around the Midwest come to Christensen's.
Dumont Telephone Company has been in business for over 120 years. Their 8-person staff has a combined total of over 135 years of experience providing high-quality service to the area. They currently provide broadband and streaming video services to several area communities in Butler and Franklin counties. Dumont Telephone Company is currently investing millions of dollars into the latest technology, fiber to the home, to make sure all rural residents have access to a high-quality broadband and streaming video services.
Ready for the adventure of a lifetime? Join the Radio on the Go Travel Club for a summer 2026 cruise to Alaska. Get ready to experience glaciers, wildlife, and breathtaking views that you won't find anywhere else. Here's Derek from Crown Jewel Travel to tell us more.
From towering mountains to stunning coastlines, Alaska is the ultimate destination for nature lovers, thrill seekers, and anyone looking to make unforgettable memories. This isn't just a cruise, it's a journey into the wild beauty of the last frontier. Want to learn more and reserve your spot? Contact me at 641-425-8068 for all the details. This is a trip I'm not going to miss, and I'd love to have you there with me.
Again, contact Crown Jewel Travel to learn more. 641-425-8068. Don't miss out. Start planning your Alaska adventure today with the Radio on the Go Travel Club and Crown Jewel Travel.
Looking.
The Iowa Woo fall to the Monroe Greenheads here in the season opener inside the Unidome, 44-34. A couple of interceptions in the fourth quarter drives thrown by Woo quarterback Vernon Sharp. 2 of the 4 interceptions came there in that fourth quarter. And that kind of did the Woo in here in this one. There were some points in this game where it appeared that they could have turned momentum, but Monroe had the lead for most of this second half. It was an entertaining game throughout. A big sequence came early in the third quarter when the Woo recorded a safety on a sack in the end zone to get them back to within 2 points. But there was another turnover and some defensive penalties that extended Monroe drives. A couple of them coming in third and fourth down situations really cost the Woo here tonight in their season opener as they fall to 0-1. And head coach Victor Mann talked to me earlier this week about kind of that mental aspect of the game, being better disciplined, being able to close things out like that. And they'll certainly have some big takeaways as they head to Memphis next week for their first road trip of the season, where they will also be in search of their first win. Let's take a look at some of the stats here in this one. Vernon Sharp, Woo quarterback, ended 17 of 36 passing for 173 yards, 2 touchdowns, but he had 4 interceptions. And man, those things can definitely prove costly in a game that's as close as this one was throughout the night. Let's see, it looks like the other games tonight are getting close to being done. Nebraska is going to defeat Memphis 52-18. Or they're up 52-18 with less than a minute left in the fourth quarter. And Ozark is leading Eau Claire 42-18 late in the fourth quarter of that one. So it'll be two 0-1 teams going at it next Saturday night down in Memphis. Also, the leading rusher was Vernon Sharp as well, 14 for 87 in a score. Top receiver was Trey Henderson, 5 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown for the Iowa Woo. So they move to 0-1. We'll be back in action next Saturday night at Memphis for a 7:05 kickoff. And our next broadcast will be 2 weeks from tonight on Saturday, June 13th, when the St. Joe Goats come to town for a 7:05 opening throw-off here inside the Unidome. Once again, tonight's final score, the Monroe Greenheads 44, the Iowa Woo 34. This has been Arena League action from Radio On The Go Sports. I'm John Mowinkler reporting good night from the Unidome.